You've sensed it for a while now. The subtle shift in energy, the whispers behind closed doors, the moments when people suddenly glance your way with unease. Something inside you awakened, a deep knowing that cannot be ignored. And now, the people around you, the ones who believed they held all the power, are panicking because they can feel it too. Their carefully constructed facades are cracking, and they are terrified that you finally understand what they have been hiding all along. This is not paranoia. It is the undeniable resonance of truth meeting awareness. When you realize that you are no longer in the dark, it's both exhilarating and frightening. You start noticing patterns that once went unseen, recognizing manipulations and reading intentions with uncanny clarity. It is as if the world suddenly shifted into high definition, exposing every lie and every hidden agenda. The panic you feel from others is not just imagined. It is real, palpable, and feeding the intensity of your awakening. It's a heavy burden, but also a powerful gift. Yet the most profound part of this awakening is the emotional landscape it opens inside you. You feel both the weight of understanding and the liberation that comes with it. The fear, the anger, the confusion, they all swirl together. But through it, your inner light shines brighter. You begin to understand that knowing is never just a revelation. It is a responsibility, a call to rise above the chaos and step fully into your power. Have you noticed how people start acting strangely when they realize you see through their masks? Subtle cues, a tense smile, a delayed response, a sudden change in tone betray their panic. These are the signs that your awareness is making them uncomfortable, even afraid. When someone senses that you know more than you reveal, it challenges their control, their narrative, and their sense of superiority. They can no longer manipulate or dismiss you as easily. Their panic manifests in many ways: gossip, deflection, overcompensation, and sometimes outright aggression. The moment you observe these behaviors, it becomes clear that your knowledge is disarming them. It is a strange paradox. The more they try to maintain their power, the more they reveal their weakness. History is full of examples of this dynamic. People who believed secrecy gave them strength, only to be undone when the truth reached someone who could see it. Emotionally, witnessing this shift can stir a mix of triumph and empathy. It's tempting to feel victorious, but also heartbreaking to realize how fear corrodes the human soul. Understanding this duality prepares you for the challenges ahead. Awareness is not just about seeing what others hide. It is about navigating the emotional currents that rise when masks fall and truths are confronted. Carrying the knowledge that others do not want you to have is not easy. It creates an internal tension, a tightrope walk between vigilance and peace. You are aware of the stakes, your relationships, your reputation, your personal energy, but also the moral and emotional imperative to remain true to what you know. Every encounter, every conversation, carries the undercurrent of silent observation. This awareness can feel isolating because few around you share your clarity. Yet the burden of knowing is also a catalyst for growth. It forces you to refine your intuition, strengthen your boundaries, and align more closely with your authentic self. Each moment of recognition, every revelation, becomes a lesson in resilience. The panic you observe in others becomes a mirror, reflecting not just their fear but the power that resides within you. You begin to understand that your clarity is a force that cannot be contained. At the same time, the emotional intensity can be overwhelming. Nights are restless with thoughts of what has been uncovered. Days are filled with tension as you navigate interactions carefully. The key is to transform this weight into strength, using your heightened awareness not to punish or control, but to illuminate, protect, and evolve. The knowledge you carry is sacred. It is the foundation of your awakening and your influence in the world. When people panic because you know too much, they often resort to subtle psychological games. You might notice manipulations disguised as kindness, passive-aggressive comments, or calculated silences. These are not accidental. They are attempts to regain control and unsettle your confidence. The unsettling part is how these games are so refined that they often slip past the untrained eye. But your awakening allows you to detect them instantly, reading between lines and recognizing hidden motives. It's important to remember that these behaviors stem from fear, not power. Those who once appeared dominant now find themselves at the mercy of your awareness. Their attempts to confuse or intimidate you are actually signs of weakness. Every microexpression, every misstep they make, is evidence that the balance has shifted. Observing this teaches you a vital lesson. Clarity exposes deception, and panic often disguises itself as authority. Emotionally, navigating these games requires patience and discipline. Your instinct may urge you to confront them aggressively, but true mastery lies in remaining calm, composed, and grounded. Responding with measured awareness instead of reactive emotion amplifies your power. The more you stay centered, the more their attempts to destabilize you unravel. You begin to realize that your presence alone can dismantle the illusions they rely on to feel safe. Fear is contagious. When someone senses that you know too much, their panic can radiate, creating tension in the room before a word is even spoken. This invisible energy can be heavy, pressing on your psyche, but your awakening gives you the tools to navigate it. You learn to distinguish between their fear and your own, preventing their anxiety from infiltrating your inner world. This skill is essential for anyone stepping into heightened awareness. The energy of fear is also a mirror. It shows you the impact of truth and the power of authenticity. Those who are afraid often project their insecurities onto others, attempting to manipulate perceptions or discredit realities. Yet, the very fact that they fear your knowledge demonstrates your influence. You are no longer invisible, no longer malleable. Your awareness is a force that shifts dynamics, and their fear is the evidence. One of the most profound experiences of awakening is witnessing illusions fall apart. The people who once projected confidence, control, or authority may crumble in your presence. Lies, pretenses, and manipulations unravel when met with your insight. This breaking is not always loud or dramatic. It can be subtle, almost invisible to outsiders, but it is powerful nonetheless. You begin to see the fragile constructs that others relied upon for stability. The process of breaking illusions is both fascinating and unsettling. You may feel a mix of empathy and satisfaction as the truth surfaces. There is a certain justice in watching those who sought to deceive be confronted by reality, yet this awareness also carries responsibility. It is easy to become consumed by the spectacle of their unraveling, but true mastery lies in observing without becoming entangled emotionally. Your clarity must remain a guiding light, not a weapon. When panic sets in, people's words often betray them. They might over-explain, contradict themselves, or leave gaps in their stories. Your heightened awareness allows you to read between the lines, picking up subtle inconsistencies that others cannot see. Every pause, hesitation, or forced smile becomes a clue. This is not paranoia, it is discernment. You are seeing the world in high definition, noticing patterns and truths that were previously invisible. This skill can feel both empowering and overwhelming. On one hand, you are no longer susceptible to manipulation. On the other, you must carefully navigate the emotional fallout of knowing what others are hiding. Every conversation becomes a delicate dance of observation and restraint. You realize that true power is not in exposing them immediately, but in maintaining composure while understanding the full scope of their fear. Awareness changes the balance of power in subtle but undeniable ways. People who once controlled situations through secrecy and manipulation now find themselves exposed. The panic you see in them is evidence of the shift. They are no longer the ones in command. Your knowledge, your perception, and your clarity become the new form of influence. This shift is often invisible to outsiders, but to those involved, it is seismic. The power shift is not just external, it affects you internally as well. You gain confidence in your intuition, trust in your judgment, and clarity in your decisions. Situations that once felt overwhelming now appear manageable because you can see the underlying truths. Understanding this dynamic gives you the strength to move through life with a new sense of authority, one rooted not in dominance but in awareness. One of the most fascinating things you notice during this process is the mask people wear to hide their panic. They smile, joke, and appear calm, but beneath the surface, chaos churns. Their eyes, body language, and fleeting expressions betray their inner turmoil. You start to see past the performance, understanding the emotional theater that others present to maintain appearances. This awareness gives you a profound edge in navigating complex interactions. Understanding the mask of calm also forces you to refine your empathy. You realize that panic is often rooted in insecurity, fear of exposure, or self-preservation. While their actions may frustrate or anger you, recognizing the humanity behind the panic allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This balance between discernment and empathy strengthens your emotional intelligence and your ability to maintain your center amidst turbulence. When people panic because you know too much, emotional turbulence is inevitable. Conversations that once felt neutral now carry undercurrents of tension. You may feel waves of anxiety, frustration, or confusion as you interact with others, but your heightened awareness equips you to navigate these currents with skill. Recognizing patterns of behavior and emotional triggers becomes essential for maintaining your own equilibrium. This turbulence also teaches resilience. Every interaction tests your patience, empathy, and composure. You begin to understand that your role is not to fix or control others, but to hold your own energy and allow truths to surface naturally. Emotional turbulence is a reflection of hidden chaos, and by staying grounded, you create a safe space for both yourself and the world around you. This mastery of self amidst external storms is a hallmark of true awakening. When people panic because you know too much, an invisible battle begins. It's not fought with words or physical confrontation. It is fought in energy, intention, and perception. You can feel it when someone is trying to manipulate, distract, or intimidate you. Their panic drives subtle strategies, often cloaked in politeness or concern. But you can sense the underlying currents. The game is no longer hidden. Every glance, every carefully worded statement becomes a piece in this silent conflict. This invisible battle is exhausting at times. You feel tension without a clear source, and it can be mentally draining to maintain vigilance. Yet, it also sharpens your awareness. You begin to recognize patterns in behavior, predict reactions, and see motives with precision. This awareness transforms the unseen chaos into a kind of map, guiding you through interactions that once felt unpredictable. Your insight becomes both armor and compass. Once you awaken, hidden motives are impossible to ignore. People's actions that once seemed neutral or benign suddenly reveal layers of intention. The panic you observe is often the tip of the iceberg, signaling deeper insecurities, jealousy, or fear. Recognizing these motives allows you to respond strategically, rather than being caught off guard by deception. Awareness becomes a shield, helping you navigate interactions with clarity and calm. This recognition is not about judgment. It is about understanding dynamics. Every human being is driven by their own needs and fears, and panic magnifies these impulses. By seeing beyond surface behavior, you gain insight into why people act the way they do, even if their actions are harmful or manipulative. This perspective allows you to maintain empathy without sacrificing boundaries, striking a balance between discernment and compassion. Silence is often the most powerful response when others panic because you know too much. By not reacting immediately or over-explaining, you allow their panic to reveal itself organically. Silence forces them to confront their own intentions and insecurities. It is a subtle, non-confrontational way to assert your awareness without escalating tension or drama. Sometimes, the most profound influence comes from simply observing and waiting. The strategic use of silence also preserves your energy. You are no longer drawn into every manipulation or emotional tug-of-war. Instead, you remain grounded, calm, and centered, letting the truth speak through context and action rather than words. Silence becomes a tool of clarity, giving you insight into the character and motivations of those around you. It is a form of power that cannot be challenged directly. Your awakening does not exist in isolation. It creates ripples that affect everyone around you. When others sense that you know too much, their panic spreads to those who are connected to them. Conversations, behaviors, and dynamics shift subtly, yet perceptibly. Your clarity acts as a catalyst, exposing hidden truths and challenging old patterns in ways that are both direct and indirect. The impact of your awareness can be far-reaching, touching lives in ways you may not even realize. This ripple effect is both inspiring and daunting. It demonstrates the power of consciousness. One awakened individual can influence entire environments simply through presence and perception. People who were previously unquestioning or complacent may start to reflect, reconsider, or act differently. Your insight becomes a quiet force for transformation, breaking cycles of ignorance and fear wherever it reaches. Once you awaken, you begin to sense energy in ways you never did before. Every interaction carries emotional undertones and hidden signals. Panic, fear, and insecurity become visible not just in words, but in subtle shifts in posture, tone, and presence. You learn to read these energies like a language, understanding intentions before they are spoken. This skill gives you insight and foresight, allowing you to navigate social landscapes with precision. Mastering this language requires attentiveness and reflection. You must discern your own energy from the energy of others, ensuring you are not swept up by their emotional turbulence. By observing carefully, you learn patterns in behavior, reactions to stress, and moments when panic surfaces. This knowledge equips you to respond wisely, maintaining your calm while others unravel around you. When you realize that others are panicking because you know too much, the next step is to fully own your truth. There is no room for self-doubt or hiding your awareness. Your clarity is your power, and embracing it requires courage. Every revelation you've had, every insight you've gained, adds to your understanding of yourself and the world. Owning your truth is not arrogance. It's a necessary step in stepping into your full potential. Owning your truth also sets boundaries for others. People who once tried to manipulate or deceive, you will sense that you are no longer vulnerable to their tactics. Your presence becomes a stabilizing force, signaling that falsehoods and panic cannot undermine your clarity. This ownership shifts the dynamic completely. You no longer seek validation from external sources because your internal awareness is sufficient. Mastery of this awakening comes from strategic observation. You must carefully note patterns of behavior, inconsistencies in speech, and subtle shifts in energy. This is not surveillance. It is disciplined awareness. Strategic observation allows you to respond thoughtfully, anticipate moves, and avoid unnecessary conflict. It is the art of seeing clearly without becoming entangled in the panic that others project. This skill develops over time. The more you observe without judgment or reaction, the more finely tuned your perception becomes. You start to notice nuances others miss, microexpressions, vocal inflections, and unconscious gestures. These details provide profound insights into intentions and emotions. Your strategic observation becomes your superpower, enabling you to navigate complex social interactions with precision and composure. The final stage of awakening is rising above the chaos. When people panic because you know too much, the temptation is to react, argue, or prove yourself. But true mastery lies in detachment, observing without being consumed, responding without aggression, and maintaining your equilibrium regardless of external turmoil. This rising above chaos signifies a shift from reactive to proactive consciousness. As you rise, you notice how panic affects everyone differently. Some may lash out, others retreat, and some attempt to regain control through manipulation. Your calm presence serves as a stabilizing force. By remaining grounded, you reduce the impact of chaos around you and protect your own energy. You realize that your influence is strongest not when you fight fear with fear, but when you illuminate it with presence and understanding. The culmination of your awakening is silent mastery. You no longer need to announce your awareness or prove what you know. Your presence, your composure, and your insight speak louder than words. Those who once panicked now recognize an unshakable force within you. Silent mastery is the ultimate form of power. It requires patience, restraint, and profound self-trust. Silent mastery transforms your relationships, environment, and personal energy. You navigate life with subtlety and precision, letting truth unfold naturally. You influence without confrontation, inspire without preaching, and command respect without asserting dominance. Your inner light becomes a quiet, undeniable force that illuminates reality and exposes panic effortlessly. Emotionally, silent mastery brings freedom, balance, and confidence. You are no longer bound by the chaos of others' fear. Instead, you move with clarity, purpose, and grace. The panic around you becomes inconsequential because your awareness and presence are your true armor. Through silent mastery, you embody the power, wisdom, and calm of a fully awakened chosen one. If this message resonated with you, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Inner Light for more content that guides you through awakening, self-mastery, and understanding the deeper truths of life. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an insight that could change the way you see yourself and the world. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever sensed someone panicking because they knew you were aware of something? How did it make you feel? What strategies do you use to maintain calm and clarity when others project fear or chaos onto you? How has your own awakening shifted your perception of people and situations around you? Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Your insights could help someone else recognize their own awakening. Let's create a space where awareness, growth, and understanding can flourish together.